What's the pettiest reason you ended a relationship? I divorced my husband because he tightened every jar lid in our house so hard I couldn't open them. I know it sounds insane, but hear me out. My husband, Tom, had this weird habit of screwing jar lids on like he was sealing a nuclear warhead. It started when we were dating, back when he'd just come over to my place for dinner. I'd find the pickle jar or the spaghetti sauce locked tighter than a bank vault. At first, I thought it was cute, like he was showing off his strength or something. I'd laugh, hand him the jar, and he'd pop it open with this smug little grin. But over the years, it stopped being funny. It became every single jar, jam, olives, hot pepper paste, you name it. I'd strain until my hands were red, tap the lid with a spoon, run it under hot water, and still nothing. If Tom was home, he'd open it like it was no big deal. But if I was alone, I was screwed. We'd been married 5 years, and this jar thing was a constant cycle. I'd beg him to stop tightening them so much. He'd claim it was to keep the food fresh, which I called BS on. I mean, I'd rather my salsa go bad than starve because I can't get to it. Then he'd switch to saying it was just a habit, like he couldn't help it. Things would get better for a week or two after I'd lose it, screaming in the kitchen, looking like a total lunatic over a jar of mango puree. But then it'd creep back. Every lid, every time, tighter than ever. It wasn't just annoying, it felt personal, like he was doing it to mess with me. I started to dread cooking, knowing I'd have to wrestle with a jar first. I'd buy duplicates of things, 2 jars of pickles, 2 jars of marinara, just so I could eat without a meltdown. Our friends thought I was overreacting. My sister would roll her eyes and say, just ask Tom to open them. But that's not the point. I shouldn't have to beg my husband to access my own food in my own house. The breaking point came last month when Tom had to leave town for 10 days. His mom had a health scare, so he flew out to help. I was home alone, and the first night I went to make tacos, grabbed the salsa jar stuck. I tried everything, banging it on the counter, using a rubber grip, nothing. I was so pissed I almost drove to the store to buy a new one, but then I ran into my neighbor Mike outside. Mike's this chill guy, maybe in his 50s, always tinkering in his garage. I jokingly mentioned the jar and he offered to help. I handed it over and he popped it open in 2 seconds. I laughed it off, but I was embarrassed. The next day, I couldn't open the hot pepper paste jar either. I asked Mike for help again, and he offered to open all my jars. He came over, tackled the fridge and pantry, and took 2 stubborn ones, a jar of figs and some hot fudge, to his garage. When he returned, he'd opened the hot fudge but had to smash the figs. Then he said, "This wasn't an accident. Every jar's like this, and Tom doesn't use half this stuff." His words hit me hard. I sank to the kitchen floor, crying, chest tight with betrayal. That night, I realized it wasn't just about the lids. It was control, years of feeling manipulated. By morning, I decided to divorce Tom. I called a lawyer and started packing. When he got back, I told him it was over. He denied it, begged for counseling, but I was done. Sorry. I couldn't fit this entire story in a short, so I used it as a trailer. If you want to know what happens next, just click the full story down below.